Have you ever felt completely torn between your ambition and, your heart? It's that classic dilemma, right? Do you focus 100% on your career, or do you follow a romance that feels like it could be the real thing? Well, today, we're diving into a perspective that says, hey, maybe you don't actually have to choose, but only if you play your cards right. This is the question: love or career? It's the thing that keeps so many young people up at night. I mean, on one hand, you're told to chase your dreams, build your future, and on the other, find the one. But what happens when those two paths seem to go in totally different directions? The pressure is immense. So where do you even begin to untangle all of this? Well, to find the answer, we've got to look at the root of the problem first. Why is this choice so incredibly difficult, especially when we're in our late teens and early 20s? The source material we're looking at points to something it calls the teenage romance trap. Think about this age range, 16 to 25. Seriously, think back. The source highlights this period as a total make-or-break decade. The decisions you make right here about your education, your first job, your first real relationships, they literally set the foundation for the rest of your life. The stakes are just incredibly high. And during those years, you're dealing with so much social pressure, aren't you? You've got this fear of being the only one in your friend group who's single. There's the teasing, the questions, and it becomes really easy to just get swept up in the idea of being in a relationship, even if it means letting other really important things slide. And this right here is the critical mistake. Look at the difference. All that amazing brain power that should be going toward your future, building skills, planning your career, figuring out your finances, it gets totally hijacked. Instead, your mind is occupied with planning the next date, what to wear, or just waiting for that text back. The urgent stuff completely takes over the important stuff. So what happens down the line when you're stuck in that distraction focus? What are the real long-term consequences? This is where the source material really doesn't pull any punches. The fallout from these misplaced priorities, well, it can be pretty harsh, and a lot of times it's unavoidable. This quote says it all, doesn't it? It's blunt, for sure, but it gets at a really tough truth. A relationship that's built without a solid, stable foundation is just fragile. The constant stress of financial instability, of not being able to actually build a life together, can wear down even the deepest feelings. And you know what happens when things eventually fall apart? The blame game. It's so much easier to say your ex was just materialistic or to get angry at your parents for not understanding than it is to look in the mirror and admit that maybe the whole thing was built on a shaky foundation from the very beginning. And that brings us to a really crucial point about perspective, especially with parents. When young people say, my parents just don't approve, the source suggests it's almost never about the person you're with. It's about the future they're worried you won't have. They aren't anti-love. They are pro-stability. They just want to see that you can build a secure life for yourself and for a partner. Okay, so we've laid out the problem and the pretty painful consequences, but it's not all doom and gloom. So what's the solution? The source gives us a really powerful and actionable strategy. Build your foundation first. And here's the game plan, laid out in 4 simple steps. But I want you to pay close attention to the order here. It all starts with you, with an internal focus on your own goals. That focus helps you become capable, which in turn earns you respect. Winning a family's approval isn't step 1. It's the natural outcome of the first 3. Now, that second step, become capable, is really the heart of this whole philosophy. The source uses the Hindi term kabil bano, and it means so much more than just getting a job. It's about reaching a state of self-sufficiency, of financial stability, where you can confidently look at yourself and say, yes, I can build a secure future for myself and for someone I love. This all leads us to the most important shift in thinking. See, this isn't about choosing your career over love. Not at all. It's about completely reframing the situation so that your career and your love life work together, not against each other. The ultimate goal is to turn your relationship from a potential weakness into your greatest strength. So instead of being a distraction, your partner becomes your biggest motivator. Your shared goals for the future drive both of you to work even harder. It becomes a partnership built on mutual support, pushing each other towards success. This final quote from the source just ties it all together so perfectly. If you only chase love, you will lose both love and career. But if you walk with love towards your career, you will win both. It's just a powerful reminder that when you get your priorities in the right order, you don't actually have to choose. You can win at both. So the final question this leaves us with is a really important one. It's a question for you to think about. Are you building a foundation that's strong enough for two? Because in the end, it's not about choosing love or career. It's about building a career that can support a lifetime of love.